Order up.
Caribbean Kitchen, foods offer 7 unique blends of premium, low-sodium Jamaican seasoning that will add a burst of flavor to your dishes. Our authentic all-natural Jamaican seasonings are a game changer when it comes to adding a burst of flavor to your dishes. Our products are kosher, all-natural, contains ingredients that are gluten-free and GMO-free. Our seasonings are handcrafted with the highest quality ingredients. We source our ingredients from the Caribbean to capture the authentic taste of the islands. Unleash your creativity in the kitchen and savor the taste of the Caribbean with our spice blends. Enjoy our variety of seasonings that are flavor-packed to deliver the best taste for your dishes. Get ready to create delicious meals that will excite your taste buds and leave your guests asking for more. Try our exclusive curry and jerk seasonings for an extraordinary cooking experience. Our blends are an excellent choice for chicken, meat, fish, and vegan dishes. Add a burst of flavor to your cooking with our top quality Jamaican seasonings. Grab one of our bundles and enjoy the taste of the islands.
African Israelites, a law-abiding family of Israelites peacefully attempting to live in the lands of their captivity. And then there's the Black Hebrew Israelites, a creation of the Confederate, a modern-day makeover of the African Israelites, reimagined as an evil, violent villain, rampaging through the streets, taking the lives of the innocent, committing heinous acts of hate at every opportunity. Or at least that's what they want you to believe. Even when the crime was committed by a white man. Whom the ADL's Jonathan Greenblatt blamed on Black Hebrew Israelites. Proverbs chapter 6 verse 16 reads, "These 6 things doth Yahuwah hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him, a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood." Proverbs 12 verse 22, "Lying lips are abomination to Yahuwah, but they that deal truly are his delight." Proverbs 13 verse 5, "A righteous man hateth lying, but a wicked man is loathsome and cometh to shame." You see, family, lying is even addressed in the 10 Commandments. In Exodus chapter 20 verse 16, which reads, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor." This serious offense can even cause one to burn in the lake of fire. Revelation chapter 21 verse 8 reads, "But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death."
Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Shalom, shalom, Ms. Prakash. Shalom, shalom, family. Hopefully everyone's doing tube or good. Hey, hopefully everybody had a great Shabbat. Hopefully everyone had a restful day. And let me see if I can stop this video one moment. Let me take this off of the screen here. Bear with me just for a second, fam. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. All right, well, hey, family, hopefully everybody's doing well. If we could please just do a quick audio check. Let me just pop over to my other chat here. Hang on one second, fam. All right, if my audio sounds okay, Mishpachah family, if you could please just put a 1 in the chat. That is, if the audio sounds fine, please put a 1 in the chat. All right, thank you. I see ones. All right, bless you, Mishpachah. All right, so hey, there's a lot going on, family. There's a lot going on, and actually, I started to come forth with this information Shabbat night, but it just wasn't quite ready yet. Just because of the urgency. Just wanted to, make folks aware. And again, family, this isn't fear mongering or anything like that, but just want to make sure Mishpachah is aware, to encourage everyone to stay prayed up, prayed up and encouraged for the things to come. Because as far as the scripture tells us, Mishpachah says, look up, and rejoice, actually, because, our redemption draws near. So, and with that being said, family, I'm going to do a couple of things. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to our moderators. Shout out to Ema, sister Cassandra Sellers. Appreciate you, sister Ema. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat. And I'm just kind of looking through the chat, family, to see who all is here. And looks like we got a lot of family in there. So again, welcome, family, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. And this should be interesting. All right. But again, fam, I'll try to get you out of here pretty quick. Again, every time I say that, it ends up being over an hour. But really, I'm going to try to get this message across in over an hour. But we'll just let the Holy Spirit guide us in that respect. All right, Mishpachah. Well, with that being said, let's just run a quick clip, and then we'll come back on the back end of this clip here. So I'm going to add it into the screen.
Long ago, at the foot of a burning mountain, Yahuwah instructed Yisrael to create for him a tabernacle according to his instructions. A tent of meeting, a place where he would meet with Yisrael face to face and dwell with them and lead them. Exodus chapter 26, verse 1 reads, "Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue, and purple, and scarlet. With cherubim of cunning work shalt thou make them." The 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another, and other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of the one curtain, from the edge in the coupling. And likewise shalt thou make in the uttermost edge of another curtain, in the coupling of the second. And thou shalt make 50 taches of gold, and couple the curtains together with the taches, and it shall be one tabernacle. And thou shalt make curtains of goat hair to be a covering upon the tabernacle. 11 curtains shalt thou make. And thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves, and shalt double the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make 50 taches of brass, and put the taches into the loops, and couple the tent together, that it may be one. And thou shalt make a covering of the tent of ram skin dyed red, and a covering above of badger skin. Thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen. Of cunning work with cherubims shall it be made. And thou shalt make an hanging for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen, wrought with needlework. For the gate of the court shall be an hanging of 20 cubits of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen, wrought with needlework, and their pillars shall be 4, and their sockets 4. And so, family, not only did Yahuwah choose gold, blue, purple, and scarlet for the colors of his tabernacle and the things therein, he also chose gold, blue, purple, and scarlet for the colors of his priests, the colors of Israel. Exodus chapter 28, verse 2 reads, And thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother, for glory and for beauty. Verse 4, And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate, and an ephod, and a robe, and a broidered coat, a mitre, and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother, and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest office. And they shall take gold and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen. Verse 8, And the curious girdle of the ephod which is upon it shall be of the same according to the work thereof, even of gold, of blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen.
All right. Shalom, shalom, Ms. Bakar. All right. Thank you for everyone that's joining in, family. Yep, we are just getting started. So shalom, shalom to everyone's I keep wanting to say dialing in. Everyone that's logging in, family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So up until today, and actually, let me just switch my screen here. Hang on one second, family. So up until today, we've covered the colors of the Most High, right? The colors, like when the Most High, visited us at the foot of the burning mountain, visited us, our forefathers, in front of Mount Sinai. Not only did he give our forefathers, the law, statutes, and commandments, but we also received our colors. We also received, instructions on how to build the tabernacle and how our priests should dress and stuff like that. And the theme that we saw over and over again, and the purpose of the video, family, is just to help illustrate the colors, the color preferences of the Most High. Blue, purple, scarlet, blue, purple, scarlet. And that's what you would hear over and over again in that same order. Sometimes, family, you would hear gold inserted, and gold will be inserted at the beginning. So to say gold, blue, purple, scarlet, and that color combination was relegated or given to Aaron, the priest, right? So it was gold, blue, purple, and scarlet. And so this is, these were the colors of Israel. So whenever Israel moved, like whenever they broke down the tabernacle and got ready to follow that pillar of fire or that pillar of smoke, right? Even the accoutrements, even the instruments had to be covered in certain colors. Like the Ark of the Covenant had to be covered with a covering of blue, or the table of showbread had to be covered with a certain color. Had to be covered with a certain color. And even as Israel moved, you saw our colors, right? And even the inhabitants of wherever we went, they saw our colors. And this is, part of the reason why I gave the example of, for those of you all who are, sports fans or football fans, that your team has a color, has a color scheme. Like I said, Pittsburgh Steelers, most folks would say, hey, black and gold or black and yellow, right? Or, New England Patriots, and folks would say, red, white, and blue, or Philadelphia Eagles, right? Green. So just as the teams back in today's day have colors, the tribe of Israel had colors as well. So we visited that in our last few sessions or lessons. We talked about that, family, and also the backdrop of all this, all of the lesson is we just had the eclipse, right? So we just had the eclipse, and it's hard to believe, family, but at the very beginning of April, so just over 30 days ago, we had that eclipse, and actually I think I have an illustration of it. So let me bring this picture of the eclipse to the screen. So here, this is what we were talking about earlier, family. We were talking about the Aleph and the Tav. And so we talked about how when the eclipse occurred in April, and it completed this marking across the U.S., first time ever since the birth of the United States, and it completed the marking or the creation of an Aleph and the Tav, the Aleph and the Tav. And what was so exciting about this, this symbol or this Hebrew sign was that Aleph and the Tav is synonymous with Hamashiach, with Messiah. He literally says in Revelations, I am the Aleph and the Tav, right? And let me see, do I have no, I don't have that reference. I was trying to see if I have the scripture on there, but I don't have it in this slide. But Hamashiach says, I am the Aleph and the Tav. And so that's why, family, a lot of us were getting excited. We were like, man, is this the time that our forefathers were looking forward to? Is this the time that is right at the precipice of Hamashiach coming back? I don't know about you, family, but that gave me goosebumps. You know what I'm saying? That helped put everything into perspective and about how important this point of time that we're in. And so, of course, we told people that, when the eclipse occurred, we didn't know what was going to happen, didn't really expect a whole lot to happen that day, but we knew that it was a foretelling, a harbinger of things to come. So, we celebrated that day, watched the eclipse occur, and then, slowly but surely things started ramping up because at that time, you had the whole thing with Israel and Iran. So I think literally the later on that week, you had Iran attack Israel for the first time ever. And everyone was on, that in the Middle East, they were on pins and needles because they felt as though that could be the trigger for World War III. Forget about all the stuff that's happening in Ukraine, but they thought that this thing that was going down in Israel was going to be the catalyst for it. But it went back and forth. Iran did something, or Israel responded, and it seemed like cooler heads prevailed. Like no one was really chomping at the bit to start World War III, and you could tell that the leaders of the U.S. were pushing hard against the Israeli state, for them not to go overboard with their response. So, long story short, family, things seem to have calmed down in that area. However, what I want to share with you, family, I'm just going to play a quick video of current events because on mainstream media, family, they are not sharing with the world like what's going on. Like we know that there's a difference between what's showing up in social media versus what's on mainstream media, and this is why the powers that be want to shut down platforms like TikTok. You don't really hear them say a whole lot about Twitter, which is kind of interesting because, in my opinion, you find just as the same stuff that you find on TikTok, you find on X / Twitter. So I'm not sure how Twitter's getting away with it, but in any case, Twitter and let's see, Twitter and bear with me just for a second, family. Just going to check one quick thing here. Oh, got it. All right. Yeah, Twitter and TikTok, family. Those were the blind spots for the powers to be as far as being able to put a lid on the information or control the information that's coming out. But social media is getting the information out, and what I'm going to share with you, family, is information that's on social media, but not necessarily on mainstream media. And I'm going to show you a clip that's going to have primarily two gentlemen in it. One is Scott Ritter. He's a former UN inspector, over in the Middle East, former intelligence officer I believe in the Marines. And then the other gentleman that you'll hear is Colonel McGregor. And both of them kind of sort of have their pulse on what's going on, and they share their thoughts on where we are now and what we should be doing now. I will warn you that when I put the clip of Scott Ritter on, now he's a little bit panicky, and he will tell you that you need to be panicking. But I don't want to fearmonger, fam. I don't want to stir your hearts up with fear. As always, family, we always pray that the Most High will cover us and guide us through these troubling times. But we know that these things must come to pass for us to get up out of here. I mean, the Most High says, with outstretched arms and with fury poured out, will he regather us from the places to which he has scattered us. So there will be turmoil, family. There won't be skipping through the tulips while the nations are judged around us. We're going to see it. So anyway, but all right. With all that being said, family, let me go ahead and play these clips, and I'll let you check it out. And again, this is social media giving a current state of affairs, and it is way different than what you hear on the news. All right, check this out, family.
NATO is in a panic. Macron's talking about sending troops. Poland's talking about sending troops. And Russia's saying, I don't know how many times we have to tell you, if NATO troops show up on Ukrainian soil, we're going to nuke you. We're going to nuke you. Okay, we're going to take you out, not your troops in Ukraine. We're going to nuke the decision-making centers. Russia isn't bluffing. I hope the people watching right now are getting cold sweats right now, because the world's over at this point, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it's over. It's game, set, match. It's done. Whatever plans you had for the summer, they're canceled. Whatever Christmas plans you had, forget about it. So get scared, start calling people and saying, what the hell are you doing, Tony Blinken? Biden, get on the phone to Macron and tell him to shut up and sit down. The same thing with the Poles, because this is it. Russia's getting ready to exercise the use of tactical nuclear weapons in the southern military district. Okay, that means that if NATO troops are deployed, because the Ukrainian army is collapsing as we speak, and Macron has said it's his red line. And if they collapse, I have no choice, he says, but to send French troops in. Well, the Russians will kill them, but then they're going to nuke France. So there we are. This is about as serious as it gets, and yet we are sleepwalking. We are sound asleep. Nobody in America cares. Nobody.
Your thoughts on how much longer the Ukraine war can go on?
Well, I think it'll last until the end of the summer. I think it's probably going to run out of steam by then. But again, we don't know what's going to happen just over the next 2 or 3 weeks. If the British and the French do not cease and desist, if we do not signal our private acknowledgement that this is a lost cause, which we can do through someone like Ambassador Burns very easily, and then make provisions to withdraw some of our more vulnerable assets and people from Ukraine, then I think we could see a serious crisis on the scale of the Cuban Missile Crisis erupt this summer.
Well, in the invasion of Rafah, if the IDF kills another 30,000 innocents, will any state actor intercede? Will Joe Biden change his mind?
Well, I don't think there's going to be any change of heart in Washington whatsoever. There's no evidence for that. I think the attitude is what we've described earlier. I do think that within the larger regional framework, the tectonic plates are moving, and we'll see more dramatic movement in the months ahead, to the point where suddenly Israel confronts something far more serious than Hamas, and much more serious in the sense that it could be regional, with terrible implications for the use of weapons of mass destruction. I hope I'm wrong, but I think that's probably on the horizon somewhere.
When you say the tectonic plates are moving, to what are you referring, Colonel?
Talking about the major powers in the region, the Iranians, the Turks, other Muslim countries in the world, others who may not be in the immediate vicinity but have an interest in the outcome that may provide capabilities that are currently not available. And I don't want to go into too much detail there, because then you're moving into an environment where I can't confirm it. I can only talk about it as a potential problem. So I think the Israelis, if this persists, will suddenly confront a different set of actors who are much more willing to take action against them that could be devastating. And I don't exclude Russia or China from that equation either.
All right, family. So I'm not sure if you picked up on it. So the first clip was from Scott Ritter, and he was talking about Ukraine, right? So I'm not sure if you've been following what's been going on in Ukraine, but Ukraine, they're losing, and Russia is winning. They're getting ready to, if this was a game, they're getting ready to go in for their finishing move. But NATO/France is threatening or saying that they are going to send troops into Ukraine. And basically, family, the Russians are saying, well, if you do that, not only will we take out your troops, but we are going to nuke France, is what they said. And so here they're kind of like at this Mexican standoff at the moment. And so what they're waiting to see is what France is going to do. And it looks like France is in the process of sending troops, and that's why Scott Ritter is about to fall out of his chair. Because he knows that Russia is not bluffing. Like, they're not playing. This is kind of like that chess move. You move here, we're going to take your pawn. So that's what Scott Ritter, the very first clip, was talking about. And then the other clip, which was Colonel McGregor, he kind of followed up on it, because they started off the discussion talking about Ukraine as well. And he too, in his own words, said the same thing. He said that. His just kind of paraphrasing, he said that we could have a Cuban Missile Crisis type situation. If you're not familiar with the Cuban Missile Crisis, that's when Russia tried to stick nukes in Cuba, and the United States set up a blockade, and it all came down to Russia was sending a ship over to Cuba, and the American ships were getting ready to shoot that ship out of the water. And that was going to be the catalyst for World War III. And in hindsight, years later, interviews from both sides, interviews from, the Russian captains and the folks on the U.S. side, revealed that we were extremely close to World War III. It came down to a last minute diversion, which caused it not to happen. Right. So this is what Colonel McGregor is talking about. He's saying, well, this same thing is getting ready to play out in Ukraine. So get ready. All right. So that's current events, family. And that's on top of all this stuff that's going on in Rafah. Colonel McGregor did also talk about what's going on in Rafah. What you may have heard about Israel going into Rafah. What he's saying, family, is that so Rafah is, I think, we've talked about this before in previous videos, but there's different types of Muslims in the area, right? So in Gaza, those are Shiite Muslims. In Turkey, they are Shiite Muslims. In Egypt, they are Shiite Muslims. And what Colonel McGregor is saying is that if they go into Rafah, those countries with those Shiite Muslims are not just going to sit by idly and let Israel genocide their people. Eventually, they're going to act, and you can kind of see it kind of playing out behind the scenes where the U.S. is trying to keep Israel at bay, but Israel's not really listening because that they have their tentacles in our government, whether it be through AIPAC or all these lobbyists that have their tentacles in each of these senators and even the president. So Israel, they're not stopping. I mean, they're coming across as another Egypt. Like, how the Most High, he hardened Pharaoh's heart. And it seems like, Netanyahu is the modern day Pharaoh. His heart is hardened. He's going to do what he's going to do. And he's going to drag everybody kicking and screaming into a larger conflict, which could be World War III over in that area. And so anyway, but that's just, what's going on over in that area. So what Colonel McGregor was saying was that he believes that there's going to be a major shift. That's his words. He says there's going to be a tectonic shift within the next weeks or months over in that area, and that eventually Israel is going to be fighting somebody else. And he didn't want to go on the record as far as being too specific, but that's what he's saying. So, but that's current, like I said, that's current state, family, as far as, what's going on. And in the background, all this is happening with the eclipse having passed. And now we've had this strange event that occurred over in the United States, and not just the United States, it's happening in other countries around the world, but this Aurora, what we call the Northern Lights. And there were many reports. I don't know if you all saw it. It was visible for much of the U.S., but the Aurora, you should never see the Aurora for the most part south, in South Georgia or down in Florida. I know we have some family or Mishpachah in Florida that have actually seen the Aurora. And shout out to Pastor Kelly. I believe he was in Houston, Texas, of all places, and actually saw the Aurora in Houston, Texas, of all places, all the way down there. So what I'm going to show you, family, is just a few clips of people witnessing the Aurora, not only in Georgia, where I'm based at, but in various other places. So check this out, fam.
Train of coronal mass ejections coming off the sun several days ago has arrived at Earth, and the Space Weather Prediction Center had issued a G4 geomagnetic storm watch, the first one they'd issued since 2005. But that solar storm arriving on Earth exceeded the forecast, and now G5 conditions were observed. And what that did is it brought the southern extent of the northern lights further south. So we have seen a beautiful display of the northern lights here in Georgia on Friday evening, May the 10th. So photos coming in from across the North Georgia area, even as far south. I've seen photos from the Alabama coastline, from Tybee Island in Georgia, but these photos I'm showing you are from our 11 Alive storm trackers here across the metro and North Georgia area. This one from Taylor Jolly from Buford. You can see those hues, the faint hues of red and green. Photo from Spalding County from Andrew Lawson. You can see the really pretty colors of red and pink. Another photo of a little bit of red and green in Brazelton from Lynn Stallworth. This one coming in from Guy Dockstader from Southern Fayette County, and also a photo in from Kennesaw. So again, it was forecast to be a G4 geomagnetic storm and actually reached G5. This is the strongest geomagnetic storm that's hit the Earth. G5, that is, since the Halloween storm of 2003.
But the other question is, will we actually see them? Because obviously seeing northern lights down in Florida is very rare. And shockingly, last night we actually did see northern lights in a large chunk of Florida. So I'll kind of talk about that here in just a second.
Well, super rare, super cool event happening here locally, Southwest Florida. The Northern Lights have made an appearance. This is off of Matt's Twitter page, and he's apparently getting shots left and right. This one on island, Sanibel Captivo. Right now, get on outside, find a dark spot, look to the north. After the show is done, obviously, and this is what you potentially may be viewing, a super rare shot as the Northern Lights have worked its way all the way down into sections of Southwest Florida as a G5 extreme solar storm system is currently taking place. This won't last much longer, so get on outside and enjoy the conditions.
more than 200 years since two broods of cicadas emerged at the same time in the eastern part of the United States, and one of them is here in Tennessee. As brood 19 is starting to hatch, 6 on Your Side reporter Naomi Hilmer spoke with an entomologist to learn why this phenomenon is happening and where you can expect to see this brood of cicadas in East Tennessee.
Yeah, it's not just one or two coming, it's probably millions per acre.
Okay, be warned, we've got new video showing a record cicada season is upon us already. Fox 2's Andy Banker takes us to where thousands are now emerging from the ground, and he tells us why maybe we should see it as more fascinating than creepy. New at 9.
So it's starting. Pick any neighborhood, say in Baldwin right now. You'll see them flying here and there, just a few. Check out any tree like this one. There are at least 50 shells and live cicadas on the bark right now. And this is nothing. We have liftoff and certainly the crawl out.
No way, ew!
Alex Shire couldn't bear to see the videos of 13-year cicadas now emerging, up to 1.5 million per acre.
See, that's what I'm afraid is that they're going to be dive bombing. Like, I'll be gardening and then they'll be flying in my hair. And look, I've got enough going on, so I don't need help with that.
A lot going on, family. A lot going on. So it's not just the stuff that's going on over the Middle East. It's not just the stuff that's going on over in Ukraine, but you know, as you can tell, family, we have plenty going on here right at home, right? And with that being said, family, let me just switch over to our presentation right quick. So, as you said before, you know, these were the signs that we reviewed before, you know, the Aleph and the Tav, and the way that we reconstructed the Aleph and the Tav. We followed the path of the eclipse across the U.S., right? And then just something to consider, family. Just something to consider. Also, when you look at the Aurora. So the Aurora, what folks may not know is that it too also forms a shape on the U.S. And the Aurora is actually an ejection from the sun. And I know there's some speculation out there whether it's HARP, whether they had the satellites out in the in orbit, that's manipulating lights and stuff like that. Who knows, family? Who knows? But just based off of the information that we do know, family, when we look at the Aurora and we look at the shape that it makes across the the U.S. or the world, taking the same approach that we did when we looked at the Aleph and the Tav, it too forms a Hebrew letter, which is the Ayin. The Ayin, which literally means to watch and to know. It means to see, to watch, and to know. And then in addition to that, family, also when we took a look at the Aleph and the Tav, one of the things that we brought out was that, the Most High told us to look up, right? We're supposed to look at the sun and the moon and the stars. So one of the things that we noticed was that, when the eclipse occurred, we took notice of where the eclipse occurred. Like when the eclipse first started off, we noted that the first eclipse, I believe it was the one in 2017. The first eclipse occurred inside Leo, and it occurred inside of the lion, or you could say inside the Lion of Judah. The eclipse represents judgment, right? And then later on, as we had subsequent eclipses, we had an eclipse that showed up in the woman, which in the woman in this case would be Israel. And then the last eclipse occurred not in the lion, not in the woman, but near the fish, or the time of Jonah. So I know this is all, prophetic, and I know there's different interpretations and stuff like that, but just pointing out, the point here, fam, is that I'm pointing out is just when the eclipses occurred, they occurred in different constellations in the sky, right? And so, like, again, we're just taking the same approach that we did when we took a look at the eclipse, and we're going to apply that to the aurora. So when the aurora occurred, we took a look at the mark that it made on the ground. It formed what's called an ayin, which, in Hebrew, it means to watch, to know, or to see. And then the other thing that we noticed, family, is what was in the sky constellation-wise to the north when the aurora was occurring. I'll say it again. What was in the sky to the north when the aurora was occurring? Now, I know there's a bunch of constellations out there, and you can see, but the main one, family, that's almost due north is the dragon, called Draco. So when the aurora was occurring, it was occurring during a time when the dragon was in the sky. And of course, you had the bear, which is, from some folks may equate the bear prophecy to Russia, was in the sky as well as other things. But we're just taking note of what's in the sky. Again, we're taking this exact same approach that we did when we took a look at the solar eclipse. All right. So again, we're just taking note. And so this thing called an aurora, some folks may call it the Northern Lights, right? But it actually has a name. You call it the Aurora Borealis. I know I'm messing up that name, but what I want to do, fam, I just want to show you a few things. So one is, let's take a look at the word aurora. What does it mean? Like when they see that this stuff that's happening in the sky, like what does it mean? Where does aurora come from? So one thing, as you can see on your screen, we're looking at the Webster Dictionary. Aurora means dawn, right? It means the beginning. And also, aurora, that the name that they given to it, of course, it was pagan, and you can see that the pagan references a Roman goddess of dawn, right? And so, for the purposes of this presentation, family, what we did was that just went ahead and clicked on dawn. So let's see, because dawn was the very first definition. So let's, on the Webster Dictionary, you can actually click on dawn to get the definition of dawn. And dawn will tell you that, it's the first appearance of light in the morning, or it literally means the beginning. It literally means the beginning. All right. So where are you going with this, Brother Benaiah? So you may not know this, family, but the word aurora, like Aurora Borealis, came into being in 1619. In other words, when they started marking this phenomenon that they started seeing in the skies, and they gave it a name, and they called it aurora, and it occurred in 1619. You might be saying, well, Brother Benaiah, you making that up. Okay, let's read it. So this is National Geographic, right? And, for the purpose of this slide, I didn't start at the very top of the article. I think on the next slide, we go back up to the top. But I just wanted to get right to the quote where it says, what are auroras, or northern and southern lights? Italian astronomer Galilei coined the term aurora in 1619, after the Roman goddess of dawn, totally pagan, mistakenly believing it to be a reflection of the sun off of the atmosphere, blah, 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 blah. But the note here, family, is that term started in 1619. And then here, I think we kind of go back up in the same article, and it says why the northern lights are showing up in unexpected places. So why all of a sudden we're starting to see these northern lights, all the way down south. And what I'm going to show you, family, is that there's a little bit more to it than just lights in the sky, right? And primarily when they look at auroras, they normally come in these colors. The auroras come in green, red, blue, and purple. I'll say it again. They come in green, red, blue, and purple. Now, one thing to note, family, is that these colors, whenever you see them in the sky, they indicate or denote where or how close the aurora is occurring, or how close the event is occurring to the surface of the earth, right? In other words, let me give you an example. So this is just to show you the primary colors. And, when we were talking about the primary colors, or we were talking about the colors of the Most High, we said what? Blue, purple, and scarlet, or yellow, right? Or gold. Gold, blue, purple, and scarlet. Blue, purple, and scarlet, or gold, blue, purple, and scarlet. For the most part, these are primary colors. One of the colors we did not mention was green. One of the colors we did not mention, family, was green. So at the foot of Mount Sinai, the tabernacle on earth, our tent of meeting, we received instructions for blue, purple, and scarlet, or gold, blue, purple, and scarlet. And that's just a quick note to myself to play the video. So just what we're going to do here, family, we're just going to take note of the colors in the aurora that we saw. So check this out. This is just to review the colors of the aurora. All right. Well, as you can see, family, for the most part, in those pictures, you saw a lot of blue and purples, or for the most part, maybe purple was the color that you saw the most. And let's take a look at the colors, because again, family, when we see the colors, for the most part, we just take a look at the colors like, oh, those are nice colors out there. But there's actually just some information that I'm going to share with you about those colors and where they are and stuff like that. That, just sharing some information with your family. So here we go. We're looking at space.com, and it says aurora colors. What causes them and why do they vary? All right. So here we are, family. Let's see. First thing we need to know about the colors, because you know that auroras have the color of green, right? Auroras have the color of green. And see, we'll take a look at what it says. It says green auroras are typically produced when charged particles collide, high concentrations of oxygen, blah, blah, blah. All right. I'm going to reread the highlight at the very top, the highlighted sentence. It says, the most common aurora color is green. The most common aurora color, family, is green. So, when you talk about aurora up north, right? For the most part, it's green. So whenever you're looking at an aurora and you're looking at some different colors, that is unusual to a certain degree, and we'll review that. Now, also, family, when you take a look at the aurora, based off of the colors, you can tell that lets you know how close the aurora is to the ground. So, for example, the green auroras, they reside in the area, and you can see it on the screen. It says between 60 and 190 miles, and this varies based off of which publication you're looking at, because it's a range. But we're just going to go with space.com. They say it's between 60 and 190 miles, right? So that's why, I don't know if that's why you see the green at the very bottom when you're looking at auroras often. You'll see green at the very bottom. But then let's keep going, family. So the next color that we see in the aurora, we saw those red and those pinks. It says red auroras are comparatively less frequent and are usually associated with intense solar activity. So whenever you see red associated with an aurora, that's not necessarily common. But then it says They occur when solar particles with oxygen with higher attitudes, and generally around 180 to 250 miles. So in other words, family, whenever you see the color red in the sky, what if that's a true aurora, and if that's not HARP and them playing around with satellites and stuff like that, right, family? What that means is that aurora is further up or further away from the Earth. And usually what they'll tell you, family, is that usually whenever you see the color red in the aurora, it's like almost like it's painted on with a broad brush, because of the range that it covers is a vast range, right? All right. So anyway, the takeaway there, family: green is common, red not so common, and then the one that's even rarer than green or red is purple and blue. Blue and purple auroras are even less common, and also tend to appear during periods of high solar activity. And the thing to note about the blue and purple auroras, family, is that they are very close to the ground. Like whenever you see blue and purple, it says like these colors are produced when solar particles collide with nitrogen in the Earth's atmosphere at an altitude of 60 miles or less. So whenever you see blue or purple, that event, family, is very close, right? You see a red aurora event, that's very far away. You see green, we'll call that midway. But you see blue and purple, that event that you're seeing is very close compared to the others. And so what we saw, family, for the most part, and this is I grabbed these off of TikTok, and these are just I think it's either TikTok or Twitter/X. But these are just people posting that they've seen the aurora, and they're sharing their pictures. And you can see, family, what color do you see? Purple. You see purple. So again, it's just driving home the fact that this event was very close. Like when it came to the U.S., for the most part, this is anecdotal evidence. What I mean by that was just kind of just randomly going through and looking at various pictures. For the most part, the pictures that I saw, they weren't green. They were blue and purple. Blue and purple, right? And here's another one, and you see a little bit of green in this one. You can't. I know these are clouds. You can't really tell if that's just a reflection of the clouds, but you see, blue, or not blue, kind of this purplish pink in the background. And again, this is just to just to share that the auroras are usually green, red, sometimes blue, and purple. All right, and excuse me, and this is what we were sharing before. These are colors of the Most High. When you start talking about blue, purple, and scarlet, which are the colors that you see in the aurora. There's also green. We haven't touched on green yet, but at least the blue, purple, and scarlet, we know that those are the colors of the Most High. And just to drive that point home, family, just to show you that I'm not going to share too many scriptures on this, but just to share just a few. But this is Exodus chapter 26, verse 1. Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle in 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue and purple and scarlet, with cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them. Or Exodus chapter 26, verse 31, it says, and thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet, right? Same colors of the aurora, right? Same colors of the northern lights. And it says, and fine twined linen of cunning work with cherubims shall it be made. And then this one says, Exodus 26, verse 36, it says, and thou shalt make an hanging for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen wrought with needlework. So same colors over and over again, even in Exodus chapter 28, verse 5. And this has to do with Aaron's garment, where you can see verse 2, it says, and thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother, for glory and for beauty. And then if you jump down to verse 4, it says, and these are the garments which thou shalt make: a breastplate, an ephod, a robe, a broidered coat, a mitre, and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. Verse 5, and they shall take gold and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen. Again. And then in verse 6, we'll just finish up here, family. It says, and they shall make the ephod of gold, of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, and fine twined linen with cunning work. All right. So again, family, we see those colors over and over again. And I believe this is the last one, family. And we'll just read this real quick. It says, Exodus chapter 28, verse 31. It says, and thou shalt make a robe of the ephod all of blue. All right. All right. So colors over and over again: gold, blue, purple, scarlet, gold, blue, purple, scarlet, colors of the Most High. And then also in previous videos, family, what we said was that once you're familiar with the colors of the Most High, once you're familiar with the team colors of Israel, when you go back and look at archaeology, when you go back and look at hieroglyphs, like the original hieroglyphs, not the ones that they reproduced or they remade, but the actual originals, when they talk about, the subject of the painting is like a Semite, like in this case, what you're seeing on the screen, this is supposed to be a Semite. What you'll notice is that there are traces of blue and purple, in his garments. Now, this is a reproduction. And what I mean by that is that this isn't the original. This is someone taking a look at the original and then, whitewashing it. So, of course, all these folks that got afros, now they got light skin, right? But at the very least, family, at least you can take a look at the garments and you can see blue, purple, and scarlet. And what I will point out, family, is that there's some debate, or there's some artistic, what's the word I'm looking for? Some people believe that, when the scriptures talk about, for the blue, purple, and scarlet, some people believe that, it's actually talking about taking the threads, a blue thread, a blue thread, a purple thread, and a scarlet thread, and you intertwine them together. And if you do that, you end up with this purple looking garment. Or whereas some will take that to mean that the colors are separate. They're separate, but you just wear them or layer them within the garment. So that's why in some pictures you'll actually see actual colors of blue, purple, and scarlet. In the other pictures you'll just see this. They'll just be wearing this purple garment, which is a intertwined blue, purple, and scarlet thread. All right. So now saying all that, family, like I was saying, that once you understand the colors of the Most High and the team colors of Israel, one of the things we pointed out, what you were looking at before, you were looking at hieroglyphs, Egyptian hieroglyphs. The other thing I pointed out, family, was that when you look at the west coast of Africa, in a territory called the Kingdom of Judah, or YAH, right? And we've covered this in various videos. But in this territory, family, the population of that territory had a certain dress. And I pointed this out in a previous video as well. So what you're looking at, family, on the screen, this is an old map of the Kingdom of Judah. And I think it's off the screen. I don't know if, actually the ticker that's going at the bottom is covering it up. But let's see, the ticker. Yeah, something of Judah. I forgot what that name was. But at the very least, the territory, the landmass that you see in the front is the land, or the kingdom of Judah. The kingdom of Judah. All right. So in the kingdom of Judah, and just kind of pointing this out, family, just to let you know that there's multiple layers of evidence that points out that the children of Israel were in fact in these places. And, we have the historical references in books that were published before before 1850 or 1850 or older. And those old books, when we look at the history of the Israelites in Spain and Portugal, of the house of Judah in Spain and Portugal, we know that according to history, they were placed in specific places in Africa. One of the places that they were sent to was Senegal. The other place that they were sent to was the Kingdom of Judah, which is the slave coast. And then there's a place that's right above the Kingdom of Judah in a territory called Bambra. And those people as well were referred to as belonging to the house of Judah. And what you're looking at here, family, this is a map of genetic distribution of what we refer to as E1B1A. And this is just a grouping, a haplogroup of DNA according to the male lineage, right? So basically it's just looking at DNA, and you group people according to how, according to their Y chromosome. So if they all have the same Y chromosome, then they're lumped into a certain group. And in this particular group, they are called E1B1A. And then on this map, what they're doing is that they're mapping out the concentration of the people that are E1B1A. And one of the things that we noted was that E1B1A concentrates in the territory where the Portuguese were sent to. Like the Portuguese were sent to Senegal, so you see a high concentration of E1B1A in Senegal. The Portuguese were sent to the Kingdom of Judah, right? Then you see a high concentration of E1B1A in these areas as well. But in addition to that, family, again, we're just pointing out that there are layers of proof of evidence pointing to who we are, that the children of Israel were indeed sent to the west coast of Africa. And this is just another map that shows the Kingdom of Judah, right? Kingdom of Judah. And you see this on both maps. And shout out to Brother Dante Fortson. This is I saw this first on his website. But this is just a reference where it points out that the territory in West Africa, that the tribe of Judah was in fact in West Africa. And it reads, we'll read this reference. It says, "The eye dwells with delight upon the numerous country villages, like the 115 towns of the tribe of Judah." Family, 115 towns, not 115 people, but 115 towns of the tribe of Judah. "And upon the thin forest of the palms rising from the tapestry of herbage," it says, "here waving their cut short, with combined to make this spot and fruitus and or paradise of Dahomey land." And another thing to note, family, is that over in the west coast of Africa, sometimes those territories, the names has changed names over time. So at one point it was called the Kingdom of Judah. Then at later point it was called the Dahomey land. All right, but same territory, same people. All right. So again, the point that I'm just sharing with you here, family, is I'm trying to get to these slots here. So again, we were talking about the colors of the Most High. So once you know the colors of the Most High, now when we go back and look at history, now we can look and find the people or the children of Judah, or at the very least, family, we can add additional evidence or proof that they are who they say they are. For example, this is a rendition of a warrior in the Kingdom of Judah. So this is written in French, and so you can see at the very top, on the top right, it says "History, Judah Warrior." This is in French. It's Judah Warrior. And if you look at the time of this drawing, is 1795. So this is an old drawing. And again, it's what I tell people is that if you want to find the truth, family, you got to look and use those old references. So again, this is those old references. And again, you can see the garment that he's wearing. He has blue, and he has, I believe, what appears to be scarlet sheath for his blade, scarlet strap across his chest. When you look at his arrows, it looks like they're scarlet, maybe some purple on there. But definitely when you look at the leg band that he has on his band, if you were to zoom in on there, you'd see purple, and you'd see a little bit of green on there, as well as gold. Now, these what I would say the colors of the Most High, or the colors of the children of Israel. Same thing with, and this is a closer look, right? And then in this picture is you'll see the word at the very bottom. It says Esclave de Judah, so slave. Excuse me, slave of Judah. Slave of Judah. And again, we see the same colors, but in different arrangement, of course. We see gold and red. You see some blue on her headband. Can't really tell if she has any purple in there, but at least you'll see 3 of the 4 colors in the dress. And she too has the leg bands as well. So slave of Judah. And just to show you that if you look this up on Google Translate, slave of Judah, French. So let's talk about the green just a little bit, family. So when we talk about green, when we looked at the previous references dealt specifically with the tabernacle and with the priests, the tabernacle and the priests. And during that, when we were looking at the tabernacle, for the most part, we did not see, any instructions for them to wear green. However, there is a reference to green in the scriptures, and it has to do with Hamashiach. What I want to take you to, family, is Revelations chapter 4. And let's see here. I guess let's go ahead straight to the scripture. Let's start at verse 2. And it says, "And immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven." So now we're talking about the Shamayim, the heaven. So before we were talking about the tabernacle on earth, now we're talking about the Shamayim. Hallelujah. So verse 2, it says, "And immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set in the Shamayim, in the heaven. And one sat on the throne, and he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne in the sight, like unto an emerald." All right. So the things we want to note here, family, is the similitude of jasper and sardine. Right. So we know about, our brothers and sisters have brought out the scriptures about, the Most High having feet like burnished brass, dark like burnt brass, right? Dark brown. Like those were the biblical scriptures that proved that Hamashiach was a dark brown person, right? When you took a look at Hamashiach, you saw burnished brass, according to the scriptures. But in here, this one also says jasper. So what I want to do, family, what we're going to do is, one, just let's take a quick look at what the Strong's Concordance has to say about jasper. And let me move my my icon off the screen here. Hang on, family. It's going to clean up the screen a little bit so you can read it better. There we go. All right. And so, as you can see, family, when it talks about jasper, according to the Strong's Concordance, it says it's a stone of diverse colors. And it comes in, check it out, family, blue or purple, blue, green. Uh-oh. So here's where we start to see green come into place. It says, and other color of brass. Remember, it's talked about Hamashiach looking like burnished brass or burnt brass, brown, dark brown. All right. So these are some colors that we're starting to see in the Shamayim. Blue. I want to say blue, purple, and scarlet, but purple, blue, and green in other colors. And in addition to that, and this is just to show you that these indeed are some of the colors that you see in the Aurora, in the sky, right? In the sky. And another picture, and this is also in Judah, in the kingdom of Judah. There's also another old picture that you'll find of an important person in Judah. This is the king of the tribe of Judah. And again, I have to apologize, but I have the ticker on the screen. Let me see if I can stop the ticker so that you can read the bottom of it. Hang on a second. Let's do hide. There we go. All right. So if you can see the bottom, family, it says Roy de Judah, right? And if you translate that, family, that means the king of Judah. So now you'll see that the king of Judah, he now has green on, right? Compared to everybody else. He is now rocking with green, and you'll see scarlet and you'll see purple, right? I don't see blue on there, but at least you see three of the colors that he's wearing. Oh, and he also has gold on there as well. And so let's take a look at Revelations chapter 21. And in addition to Hamashiach description, there is also a description in Revelation of the of New Jerusalem. So let's take a look, family. It says Revelations chapter 21. Let's start at verse 1, and we're going to read down just a little bit. And it says, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. There was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Elohim or Yahuwah out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Verse 3, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Yahuwah is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahuwah himself shall be with them, and be their Elohim. And Yahuwah shall wipe away all their tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. I'm going to drop down to verse 10, and it says, and he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from Yahuwah. So again, he's having a vision of the new Jerusalem descending down out of heaven. Now, if we jump down to verse 18, you'll see that it says, and the wall, it says, and the building of the wall of it was of jasper, And of course, we touched on jasper before. And this is just a mock-up or of the new city, Jerusalem, coming down to the earth, or actually on the earth. But, of course, we don't know what it really looks like. And some of what the scriptures that we're going to read next, family, is going to go over the colors of the foundation of the wall. Now, I will say that the colors on this picture, they're not biblically accurate. Maybe the artist took some liberties when he created this, but at the very least, it just gives you an idea of what we're going to talk about. So again, this is jasper. We already talked about that. Jasper, purple, blue, and green, and brass, that brown color. And let's see here, family. And here, this just gets into the various stones. And I'm just going to read these off real quick, family, and then I'm going to take us to a quick illustration that has these stones in order from the bottom to the top. And it says, and the foundations of the wall were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third chalcedony, the first an emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth sardius, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th chrysoprase, and the 11th jacinth, and the 12th amethyst. So given all those colors, family, so this is, again, Jerusalem coming out of the Shamayim, coming down out of heaven, down to rest upon earth. And we're just taking note of the colors of the Most High. We're just taking note of his preferences, what I call HGTV for the Most High Yah, right? So as we take a look, family, and this, if you start at the bottom. Now at the bottom, family, I had various jasper stones, because as you saw in the Strong's Concordance, jasper comes in various colors. So, it could be referring to a green, it could be referring to a blue, or it could be referring to what they call a red jasper, which is really kind of like a reddish brown. But in either case, I put the options down there so that you can see it. But above that, you can see blue. You can see blue. And then above that, family, again, this is one of those ones when you take a look, there's a couple of different options. It could be either green or a light purple, right? So again, you're starting to see those same colors that were brought out in the tabernacle, brought out or used in the Shamayim in heaven, coming down into earth. So you'll see greens, right? And this next layer up is a green. And then the next layer up are these sardius stones, right? And they're called like a reddish brown, but in my eyes, they look more brown and reddish. But in either case, family, you have these sardius stones, which is, to me, it is close to the representation of the Most High himself, that burnished brass brown color. And then above that, family, of course, you have the family of green, a little bit of yellow, and then back to green. And then you end up with scarlet and purple. So again, family, the takeaway here, family, is that these are the colors that we see in the Shamayim, and they are similar to the colors that we see on earth. when it comes to the tabernacle, when it comes to the garments that's worn by Aaron, with the exception of the green. And you could also say that possibly the sardius is also not represented in the tabernacle, although the sardius is supposed to be a reddish brown, and scarlet is supposed to be kind of like that, like a dark reddish color. So they're kind of sort of in the neighborhood. So we'll leave it up to you to see whether or not you believe those are similar or not. But in any case, family, everything else is in that same color scheme. So all right, Brother Bernard. So why are you showing me this? All right, the reason why I'm showing you this, family, is that I just want to show you that those colors that we see in the Shamayim when it comes to the Aurora are the same colors, family, are the same colors that the Most High uses, whether it be, we're talking about Hamashiach, with the green or the jasper, or if we're talking about the foundation of New Jerusalem coming down from the Shamayim down to earth, right? So, the jury's out on whether or not the Aurora are events that we should pay attention to. I'm of the thought, family, that hey, you've got all this stuff going on. When it comes to the Aurora, there were a lot of rare things that happened in the Aurora. One of the things, family, was the color. Remember, we talked about the color. We said the green color auroras were common, red color auroras were the next common, but the ones that were rarer than that was purple. And so what do we see over in the United States? We saw a bunch of purple. So the fact that we had those auroras as far south as Florida, that was one thing. And the other thing was that the fact that they were purple, those are two things to take note of. And that's, to me, what sets this event apart, and why, I'm adding it to the list. You can feel free to do what you want, fam. I'm just saying, I'm adding it to the list of these signs and wonders that we're seeing in heaven, whether it be the Aleph and the Tav that we're seeing, or the constellations that we noted before. Now we have the Aurora. And guess what? The Aurora was called the Aurora in 1619. So that's when it came into existence as far as the actual name. 400 years. Come on, family. So I'll leave it up to the jury, up to Mishpachah to figure out, whether or not it's something to consider or not. But that's it, family. I know it's didn't necessarily hit my hour mark, but at least we're close. Hallelujah. All right. Well, praise be to the Most High. Let me just check the chat right quick, family. All right. Hallelujah. Well, hey, family, thank you so much for everyone that's dialed in. Thank you for all your continued support, for your continued prayers, for, not for just me, family, but for all of Israel. And thank you for sharing these videos, Mishpachah. It makes a big, it helps immensely. And also, if you can, family, just make sure that your subscriptions are still in place, because, YouTube's doing some funny things with the Benaiah channel. Just a FYI, because at one point I had the channel monetized the latter part of last year, and then YouTube pulled that because of the conference that we did with Brother Ron Dalton. When I shared the actual trailer, it's basically just sharing the trailer of the movie going down at the Tampa. And then what did YouTube do? They gave the flag, they flagged the channel, and then they pulled the monetization off of the channel. So not a big deal, family, because thank you for your efforts. Thank you for your support. For those of you that support via Patreon, and those of you that are led to support via CASHAPP, it makes things that YouTube does of non-effect, right? Especially when it comes to like finances and stuff like that, because we know what Esau likes to do. Esau's all in the finance, right? That's where his mind is. You see him going after Kanye, going after finance. He's going after Kyrie, he's going after finance. When he talks about these senators and stuff like that, and trying to get these senators to do whatever, they go through these lobbyists. They pull the strings of the finance. Like, that's their tool, their weapon of choice. So praise be to the Most High, family. With your support, we're able to get around all that stuff. All right, family. Well, I rambled enough. Well, hey, family, love you, Mishpachah. Thank you for dialing in. Again, check your subscription. Make sure you subscribe Feel free to please make a comment in the video and share, like and share, and have a great rest of the evening and Shabbat. Well, not Shabbat, but evening and week. Hallelujah. All right, family. Love you, Mr. Picard. Shalom, shalom.
Long, long ago, at the foot of a burning mountain, Yahuwah instructed Yisrael to create for him a tabernacle according to his instructions. A tent of meeting, a place where he would meet with Yisrael face to face, and dwell with them, and lead them. Exodus chapter 26, verse 1 reads, "Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue, and purple, and scarlet. With cherubim of cunning work shalt thou make them." The 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another, and other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of the one curtain, from the edge in the coupling. And likewise shalt thou make in the uttermost edge of another curtain, in the coupling of the second. And thou shalt make 50 taches of gold, and couple the curtains together with the taches, and it shall be one tabernacle. Thou shalt make curtains of goat hair to be a covering upon the tabernacle. 11 curtains shalt thou make. And thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves, and shalt double the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make 50 taches of brass, and put the taches into the loops, and couple the tent together, that it may be one. And thou shalt make a covering of the tent of ram skin dyed red, and a covering above of badger skin. Thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen, of cunning work, with cherubims shall it be made. And thou shalt make an hanging for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen, wrought with needlework. And for the gate of the court shall be an hanging of 20 cubits of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen, wrought with needlework. And their pillars shall be 4, and their sockets 4. And so, family, not only did Yahuwah choose gold, blue, purple, and scarlet for the colors of his tabernacle and the things therein, he also chose gold, blue, purple, and scarlet for the colors of his priests, the colors of Israel. Exodus chapter 28, verse 2 reads, "And thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother, for glory and for beauty." Verse 4, "And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate, and an ephod, and a robe, and a broidered coat, a mitre, and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother, and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest office. And they shall take gold, and blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine linen." Verse 8, "And the curious girdle of the ephod, which is upon it, shall be of the same according to the work thereof, even of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine linen."